Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family. My name is Robert, and this is the Morning Word here on the Yeah, I Said It Show. This comes from Proverbs chapter 12, verse 11, and it says this: He that tilleth his land shall be satisfied with bread, but he that followeth vain persons is void of understanding. I sort of grin because I think of that, just blindly following people uh, just because they say something that sounds good, sounds too good to be true. I've fallen for it. I'm sure you have too, where sounds good, looks good, but as my dad used to say, it's wine going in, but vinegar coming out. So, but this presents a clear principle, this verse, about what hard work and dedication, what it means versus the consequences of idleness, or and idles mean, not just sitting there like an engine idling in park. Doesn't go anywhere. What's it benefiting? Or idolism as far as idleness, as far as worshiping some person based on what they've said. So you take it either way. But it tells us that those who put in an effort into their work will reap the rewards, while those who chase after worthless pursuits will end up lacking understanding and perhaps even lacking in their physical needs. This verse should serve as a reminder that we need to be diligent in our responsibilities and the tasks that God has put before us and the calling that He's put on our lives. Um, and we need to engage, really need to engage in making sure that we are productive with our time and our efforts and our energies and our commitments. Because on the other side of that is following those vain persons and wasting our energy on meaningless pursuits. It leads us to down a road that basically is unsatisfactory and leaves us unfulfilled and dissatisfied in the end. And this mentions tilling the land because at that time, that's really where the most production came from. If you wanted sustenance, if you wanted to be able to provide for your family, you better make sure that you have, um, a farm, a homestead, whatever you want to call it, that you were able to garden and provide food for your family. And it seems to be what we're getting back to in this world today. You see a lot more people who are homesteading or farming or, just having a garden during the day or during the spring and summer for their own personal sustenance. And when you look at that, that's a good thing. Um, because yeah, I'm gonna go here. Um, because I'm guilty of it. But and that's why I've changed things in my life. Over the last 5 years. Well, it's probably due to the fact too that I had a Damascus Road moment, um, which I've talked about. It's in a video. You can go back and look at it called My Story. But basically, what the way I look at things is before that Damascus Road moment for myself, it became that I was just waiting on others to provide things for me, like food. Always were from grocery stores, and never did we produce anything ourselves, and so you were dependent upon whatever was at the grocery store, never looking at what the ingredients were, what kind of chemicals were put into it. And for a lot of people in this world, that's what they do. And all these processed foods, when you start to look into it, and all these 6 syllable words, you realize just how bad they are for you. when you go and you put those seeds in the ground and you cultivate them and begin to work the ground and food comes forward and it's good and it's clean and it's what it was intended to be by God Himself. And that nourishment is good. And through it, I've been able to drop 85 pounds through switching that up. Because I'm not eating all the processed foods. Now, yeah, I do have a few vices that I need to get rid of. Diet Mountain Dew being one of them. Yeah, I know. And I'm just waiting on those people saying, oh, you know how bad it is? I know how bad it is. I do. And I'll get there. I'm working on it. I'm reducing to the point where I can get away from it. But anyway, I digress. This isn't about me. Well, it is, but it ain't. But I want you to understand that this message should encourage us to think, truly think, about our own lives. As well, let me ask it as a question. Are we dedicated to our task? Now, no, I'm not saying that everybody has to be a farmer. I'm not saying everybody has to work with their hands daily and till the ground and get away from uh, you know, jobs that are in this world. No, there are things that we in this world need today that have become necessities. Um, and there are good people who, I mean, first one that comes to mind are soldiers who defend our rights. We need them. They can't do that until the ground. Or, doctors. There are things they know we don't. Now you better make sure you get a good one, not just one that wants to throw you on the next hot drug that's out there that has 15,000 side effects that you hear in somebody speak in 5 seconds. You know what I'm talking about on these commercials. You're just like, wait a minute, what was that one? Yeah, don't do that. So, but what I want you to understand is what have you set your hand to? What has God called you to put your hands to? Because that's what He will prosper. If it's just doing something to collect the money, it's all about the money, that's selfishness. God can't bless that. And that's something we need to get to understand. Is that if your focus in life is on stuff that's going to be selfish, don't expect God to be able to bless you. Just can't. He's not a selfish God. He's a loving God. Now, as soon as I said selfish, just sort of reminded, yeah, He wants your attention. He doesn't want you to serve Him and serve man. He doesn't want you to serve Him and serve the world's way. So in that way, I see, yeah, in that He can be selfish. Because He just wants your attention. He wants your love. He wants you to focus on following the path that He has for you so He can bless you daily. And when you decide to do other things, and which you have free will to do, He has to wait. He has to wait on you to come back and realize that you made the mistake, to turn around and come back to Him so He can protect you and love you and prosper you once again. But back to the question. Are we dedicated to our task? Are we making the most of the opportunities presented to us? See, because God's going to bring opportunities to us where He can bless you. Or are we getting distracted on things that we see that lead us to, well, not a lasting benefit? This verse should show us that being hardworking and focused can ultimately lead to reward, satisfaction, blessings from God Himself. While idleness, whether it's sitting on the couch just waiting on a check, you know what I'm saying? Or worshiping man on some get rich quick endeavor. See, these frivolous pursuits only lead to lack and wanting more. And as a Christian, it's our responsibility to make sure that those people we love, that we talk to them, that we get them to understand that following God, well, that's what will sustain you through everything. Following the world's way will leave you lacking and lonely. Look, there's three things we need to make sure we accomplish. This verse shows it to us. Is our commitment to actually working hard on things that God has called us to do. See, we should commit ourselves to hard work. Now, those are two four-letter words that people don't like, especially when they're together. Hard work. But in a society where instant gratification is often the norm, we must remember that true satisfaction, true satisfaction actually comes from putting in the effort. Every farmer knows that planting seeds takes patience, takes nurturing. Similarly, so does the work we need to put into our relationships, put into our careers, and to our personal growth that can bear fruit over time and can, as long as God's in the middle of it, as long as God's getting the glory, God's blessings will be upon it. Look, we need to stay focused on what truly matters. This verse, it should teach us the importance of remaining focused on what truly matters. That's what God's called us to do. That's our loved ones. That's our relationship with God. That's fulfilling the Great Commission. It's following the two commandments that Jesus gave us. And it's easy to get caught up in trends and distractions that lead us away from our goals. But by prioritizing what is meaningful, what does matter, what God can bless, we can use our time wisely and ensure that we're engaging in those activities that will enrich our lives and those lives around us. Avoid distractions, people. Seriously. This is a warning too against pursuing vanity. It should remind us to keep watch over our influences. We should be intentional about what we do and who we surround ourselves with and what we listen to. Peer pressure, societal trends, the newest hot commodity can lead us to chase after things that won't fulfill us. So when we evaluate ourselves, which is crucial, we always need to ask, is this for God's glory or for my own personal selfish gain? And if you're true to yourself, answering that question will keep you on the right path. Are we following people who inspire us to grow? Or are we getting sidetracked by those who will lead us down an aimless path. It only produces for him or her, but leaves you wondering, why is it working? Why is it not working for me? Folks, I'm going to leave it there, but I will ask you today, think about what matters. Think about what you're doing in life. Is it for God's glory or for your own? And when you understand that, you'll understand if you need to get back right with God or if you can give it to Him and allow Him to bless it. Because the last thing we need to be in this world is selfish. There's enough of that going around. Folks, I hope this blessed you. Remember that God has blessed you to be a blessing. So today, go out and bless somebody else because that act is what truly helps change this world. As always, I thank you for watching. I look forward to talking with you on the next video. God bless you all and take care.